Welcome into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller,
And my name's Brett Parnell.
and we have episode 3 of our Survivor Vanuatu rewatch. Before we get into Player of the Week and the recap, what are your kind of overall thoughts here?
Overall thoughts here. The season is starting to get divided, and we kind of, we saw that a bit last week, but now it's like we clearly know where everybody is.
Well, the girls got spicy this week.
Did they ever?
This was a fun episode. Like you said,
I forgot how aggressive that fight got
We
between
start
Twila and Mia.
We start to see alliances and divisions form. We see a twist that I actually really like.
I want to ask you about that when we get going.
Yeah, when we get to that in the recap, we get a twist that I thought was really cool and wouldn't mind seeing again, but probably won't, but still. Well, it's now that I think about it, and we'll get into this then. This twist is kind of similar to the Jonathan twist we had in 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun episode. Just all around. Who is your player of the week?
My player of the week this week is Amy.
Interesting. I'm going with John. It's not JP. Nice. He got a lot of information from the other tribe. He won the individual immunity challenge.
You know what? You're right. That move, when he figures out the alliances, is probably a better move. I'd agree with you.
But Amy at Tribal Council is amazing, and I do have notes on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we dive in to the episode, and we're getting back from Tribal, and the younger women are surprised that Eliza turned on him, and they're kind of saying they may not trust her anymore.
Which is interesting, but I mean, if the person that you wanted to go home went home, that means that Eliza's in the majority and they're not, even if they don't trust her anymore. It also tells you that Eliza is quickly and early on, compared to the rest of the younger women, I think a step ahead game-wise.
Yeah, maybe, but it also means there's 3 people who possibly don't trust her, and that's not good for her either.
No, but if those 3 people are probably going to get voted off before, at least 2 of them before the merge.
I guess we'll see.
And I don't know who does get voted off before the merge. I can't even remember, but odds are if both tribes vote off an equal number of people, most of them will go.
Yeah. Because we do see Mia tell us that Lisa and Julie are the only people she trusts now. So we've got a tight trio here.
Yeah.
And we've got Twila and Scout that are tight. And then, Amy, Leanne, Eliza are kind of just there.
Can do whatever they want.
They don't feel like they have a super tight alliance with anyone, but also not with each other.
That's right.
So from there we go to Lopevi, and guess what? Rory's upset about something.
Surprise.
He's upset because Sarge is being bossy, and he says he's a grown man, and he doesn't take orders very well.
Why am I not surprised that Rory is upset at Sarge?
I get it, but at the same time, the guy was military, and his nickname is Sarge. You gotta expect he's gonna be a little bit bossier than he probably should be.
If anybody is not getting along in this show, and it wasn't Eliza and Mia, Rory and Sarge would probably come pretty close. But the other 2 are making it so obvious, or not Eliza and Mia, Twila and Mia.
Yeah.
Making it so obvious that this seems to be kind of calm.
It's something with Rory every week. Last episode it was, the girls celebrated their win. I don't remember what it was in the first episode, but he kind of separated himself from the rest of the tribe there getting upset. Rory's a lot.
Yeah.
But After this, we see
Rory is great television, but he's not working well with the rest of his tribe, which is a key component of Survivor, especially early on.
Yeah. At this point, I'm thinking, like, next time they go to tribal, he's probably gone because he's not getting along with people and he complains about everything.
That's true.
But next, JP tells us in confessional how Rory is opinionated and difficult and how that could be good for him. Maybe the main alliance wants to keep me over Rory. Like,
yep.
JP's got a potential to slip in here if Rory keeps going the way he's going.
That he does.
And so we move back to Yasur. Basically, our Lepevi segment was, hey, Rory's not happy. That's all that segment was.
That was what that segment was.
Which Rory, I don't think Rory's ever happy, other than when they didn't point a spear at him. So we go back to Yasur, and Mia and Twila have a slight disagreement. And by slight, I mean ginormous slight.
Probably at this point, we're in season 9. The biggest fight that happened in Survivor since Sandra and Fairplay 2 seasons before.
No. Robin Lex.
Oh, yeah.
Robin Lex is bigger than this. Maybe bigger than Sandra and Fairplay.
If that was a fight as compared to an act, they weren't. That was more gameplay the way I saw it, but that makes sense.
And I feel like a fight requires both people arguing. Rob wasn't really arguing. It was just Lex angry monologuing at Rob, and Rob's like, so?
Exactly.
But Lex gets points for being angry. He deserves a spot in this conversation.
Fair enough.
Basically, this fight, though, it goes back to Twila's comments at Tribal the night before that the youngins weren't doing any work. And Mia, she calls Twila out and says that all this work Twila's doing would still eventually get done if she wasn't there. The young girls could do it, but Twila gets up and goes and does it all so that she can play the martyr and pretend to be a victim.
Which is also fair. So if the overall theme of Lepevi is Rory's upset, the overall theme of Yasur is Twila thinks everybody but Twila is lazy.
Mia's totally right here, right?
Yeah.
Julie's just, they go back and forth forever, and I'm not really sure what Twila's argument even is. She's just, I'm not going to take crap from these youngins. Julie's face watching all this in the hammock amused me.
True.
But Twila doesn't know how to play this game. That might be a bit extreme, but she's just always butting heads with someone. And she thinks the only way to do anything is her way. And you quote that Rudy confessional from Borneo all the time, of having to get along with other people, not forcing them to get along with you. Twila doesn't understand that at all.
That is very true.
And it shows in this episode. And she doesn't know what she's doing yet. Maybe she'll get better, but we also finally see Eliza talk to Lisa and Mia and Julie and say that she's still with them. She just didn't trust Dolly not to vote for her, which that's fair.
Yeah.
And they seem to take it okay. Here, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. They take it okay, but you also have to question how legitimate it is on either side.
I believe Eliza. I don't think she wants to work with the older women, but
okay.
She was told Dolly wanted her out, so she did what she had to do. That's the way I saw that. But we're at our reward challenge. And the way it works is we make our way through 3 walls. And the first wall, we untie a bunch of rope knots to release the gate. And then the second one, we use grappling hooks to retrieve keys to unlock the gate. And I missed the third one a little bit, but it looked like we open a hole in the gate and just climb through that hole one at a time.
Yeah.
And so LePevy wins. And then they will now compete in a second individual immunity challenge. Because we have a double tribal episode, by the way.
That we do. So that's where I kind of wanted to go with this. Jeff explains the twist. Do you want to see this in the open era?
Yeah, so let me explain it.
Sure,
First off, individual immunity works. You dig through sand, you get wooden ladder rung pieces. First person to climb all the way to the top of their ladder wins. John wins, and when John wins, we learn he's not only going back to camp with Yasur, but will vote at LePevy's tribal and afterwards give an immunity to someone at Yasur's tribal. Yasur's going second. This is cool. And I didn't think of it till we were recording tonight, but it's kind of, in a way, like what we saw in 50, where Jonathan has immunity and he gets to go back and forth between tribes.
Yeah.
Or between groups. They were merged by then. The difference is Jonathan was going back and forth. John is only at Yasur.
Yeah.
And Jonathan voted in both tribals.
Yes.
But, like, the concept is still the same. I think
it's similar.
I don't know if we'll see the Vanuatu version again, but I could see them doing the 50 version again.
Makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
I would welcome this back, though. You?
So would I. I thought it was great.
This is fun.
And, like, how smart John plays it, too. And we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I love this. And so, let's lead right into that, because we go back to Yasur, and John goes, okay, if you voted for Dolly, stand over there. If you didn't vote for Dolly, stand over there. And just completely exposes how last tribal went.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that works out past old school Survivor. If somebody says that today, I think the whole group would be smart enough to just all go to one place.
Yeah. We also
we're not telling you that information. Good luck.
The
people that are being cast now are just better at the game with seeing more experience.
Yeah. We also see John kind of want explanation for what happened last episode, which I think he quickly regrets asking for explanation. Because Eliza starts explaining it to him and then just doesn't stop explaining. And he even tells us that, like, she won't stop talking. She won't stop explaining. And I think it kind of annoyed him a little bit, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
We also see the girls tell John, hey, don't give immunity to Twila or Eliza.
Which I guess tells you what the other younger girls think about Eliza at this point and why I think that it's more permanent than we're saying.
Yeah. And if I'm John, I give immunity to one of those two just to cause a little bit of chaos in the opposing tribe.
Completely.
He made a good decision anyway, but I would have considered giving it to one of those two just to stir stuff up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, we also, and this plays into your theory, the 3 younger girls that are tight end up arguing with Eliza and saying they don't trust her, and having this argument right in front of the guy that's visiting them from their opponent and the enemy tribe. Can we not have our arguments off in the woods a little bit, or at least not right in front of him?
Or just not on the day that he's there?
Yeah. It's just, like, nowadays they'd be so much more aware, but this is season 9. They weren't thinking about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we go to Lepevi, where JP says he feels like a dead man walking, which stinks because I like JP. I think he's got a lot of potential to be good at this game.
Yeah, I agree.
And
But I think after Brooke went home first, all the younger guys on this tribe are in a bit of trouble.
but they're trying. They're trying to drive a
Yeah.
wedge in the Sarge Rory divide.
Yeah.
So we go to. Do you have any more notes before Lepevi Tribal?
No, go ahead.
So we go into Lepevi Tribal. Not much to say about the talking part. JP goes home. JP had potential to do really well, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And so
I think someone like JP, who clearly did know the game but just got stuck on the wrong side, probably would have benefited much more from playing on a season that wasn't split by gender.
yeah. Or even just if the first vote had gone the other way and Chris goes home. But so we have our second tribal now. Yasur's here. And John gives immunity not to Twila, not to Eliza, to Amy. What do you think about this?
Like he said, he wanted to give it to someone he was certain wasn't going home so that the girls could sort out their tribe's problems and move forward. I don't necessarily think that that's what I would have done, but in the long run, it does seem like a good move, especially when you think that you're going to merge in the next, at this point, 10 days, we're still in old school Survivor.
If you're thinking about the merge, this is a smart move.
Yeah.
You're trying to make bonds like, hey, I could have messed you guys up and I didn't. If you're thinking in the here and now, this tribe is your opponent. Why do you want to give them a chance to fix their problems? Give one of the obvious targets immunity and really start, and both of the ones he was told not to give it to stay. But I might try to cause a little bit of chaos in the opposing tribe if I was John.
Absolutely.
We also see Mia talks to Probst about her argument with Twila and the comments that triggered it, kind of recapping everything. And this is where things start to go sideways. I normally don't have a ton of notes from Tribal itself. Julie makes a comment that aside from the comment, Twila has made no effort to talk to them. And Twila speaks up and says, oh, well, why would I want to talk to them? I'm a tomboy. I get along better with men anyway. I have nothing in common with them. And again, this is just proving my point. She doesn't know how to play this game.
Yeah, very much so.
And I wrote that down here. Twila doesn't understand this game. And then Twila ends her...
I just said this about John. I think what would have been interesting if they maybe, and this might be a little too new idea for modern Survivor, but if they could have had the idea of swapping here at this point, it would have been a big advantage for both tribes for John to stay with Yasur and for Twila to go to Lepevi.
Oh my gosh, Twila and Rory on the same tribe?
Yeah.
Just wait till they disagree about something. That's going to be everyone's problem. But no, Twila goes on this whole speech of why she doesn't want to talk to them. And she ends it with, before you talk, walk a mile in someone's shoes.
That's what she's not doing.
And this is where Amy is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because Amy just speaks up and calls her out and asks, like, hey, have you walked a mile in their shoes? And Twila says, well, admittedly, no. And Amy, gives this spiel. Hey, they're just girls. They like doing girly things. They like playing on the beach and in the water. and like says like, hey, even if you just ask one of them to braid your hair, that could go a long way for you.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, Twila, here's how you play the game, but without being as condescending as I made that sound. Like,
Yeah.
making it sound genuinely helpful and like trying to bridge this gap between them. Amy's the best player on this tribe. She understands this game way
Yes.
more than anyone else does.
Absolutely.
Like, if I say this tribe, but kind of the cast as a whole. If
Oh, I
I'm
agree.
making a spectrum based on how people understand the game, 0% to 100%, you've got Twyla on one end of the spectrum and Amy on the other. That's our
Yeah.
scale we're grading on.
That's very true.
It just this subtle little speech to Twyla at Tribal is just so brilliant from Amy.
Yeah.
And kind
Absolutely.
of sticking up for the younger girls who we haven't seen her talk to a ton. So maybe building that bond a little bit in the process of trying to help Twyla.
Very true.
Just awesome. My last note is from the voting because Mia goes home, unfortunately. Don't ask me why. I feel like Twyla would have been a better boot here for tribe harmony's sake. Did
Yeah.
you notice
The
how
number. Twyla does not know how to play the game, but Twyla does have the numbers. And if you're in Eliza's position, it's smart to just go with it because, like I was saying, I don't think that at least until later in the show, I think there's not enough time that has gone on to heal a relationship with Eliza and the other younger girls. So you don't want to be the one who gives up a number and then next thing you know, they just decide to take out you.
true? Here's what I'm saying. After this tribal, watch Amy and the younger girls. I feel like by her like sticking up for them there, we might see that bond tighten a little
Yeah.
bit.
And that could be something that maybe reintegrates Eliza as well.
But my
Because I think
last note
Eliza
here,
and Amy trust each other while being in the middle of the rest of the group.
before we do a line blindside first boot, did you notice how Twyla spelled Mia on her voting parchment?
No.
M
How was that?
E A. I've never seen it spelled that way ever. But I just was that. I'm curious if that was on purpose now. Like, was she
Yeah,
purposely misspelling, or did she just think that's how it was spelled?
that's a great question.
And see, this is my fear if I ever go on the show is being the one that spells someone's name wrong. Because you can't say, hey, how do you spell your name? Because then they know you're planning to
Very
write it
true.
down later.
That's right.
So, do you want to go first on a line blindside first boot, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'm going to give you people who were involved in episodes where there was a double tribal council.
Nice.
So your options are from Survivor Guatemala, Brian, from Survivor Nicaragua, Kelly Bruno,
Oh.
and from Survivor 41, Sarah Wilson.
I'm going to align with Brian. Super underrated player. Went pre-merge, but I'm absolutely convinced he can make the end. The other two, I'm not. I just haven't seen a ton from them.
Yeah.
I will, I guess, first boot Sarah and align with Kelly because I don't want to first boot Kelly. So,
So,
as long as nobody knocks her over this time.
fair enough.
This episode centered a lot around a fight slash
Do you
argument.
want mine to go? Do you want me to go?
Oh, yeah, you go. Sorry.
I'm going to blindside Brian because I think he would be amazing at the end. I personally think Brian is one of the two names and the only name I can actually say that are the two best pre-merge players of all time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to blindside him. I'm going to first boot Kelly, and I'm going to align with Sarah and hope that we can form an alliance, as she's one of Sydney's best friends, and I've been a fan of Sydney's since the beginning.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Well, for you.
So this episode, like, the big storyline of this episode was a fight, correct?
Yep, correct.
I'm giving you people that have been involved in famous fights on Survivor.
Nice.
Starting in season 2 with the famous line, "I will always wag my finger in your face." You get Alicia.
Nice.
And then because I referenced it and because it's famous, I'm going to go to season 8 and you're going to get Lex.
Nice.
And then, let me think for a second. Let's go with an underrated fight. Let's go with Jamie Newton from Guatemala, who,
Nice.
he and Bobby John were, standing at each other's faces in a challenge, barking at each other at one point.
Yep, I remember that.
Underrated rivalry you don't hear about very often. Jamie versus Bobby John.
It's true. I'm going to first boot Lex. I think he's too good to sit up against at the end. And if you blindside Lex, there's no way.
That's just stupid. If you blindside Lex, you deserve to lose at that point.
Yeah. You're not getting his vote. So that leaves me with Alicia and Jamie. I am going to blindside Jamie, who I talks about competition in his jury speech, and that I think would see that well. Alicia, we know, is a bitter juror, but I also think that she would be a very strong and dependable ally to get to the end of the game with, but one who might rub other people the wrong way.
Yeah, I gave you 2 bitter jurors, and they were both bitter towards the same person. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, you could have just gave me Tom, too, and then it would have been Rob's worst nightmare.
Yeah, who did Tom didn't really have well, I guess you could say he and Rupert had a fight, but it's not, huge. I'm going to align with Jamie because you have to first boot Lex, and I don't know. Part of me's afraid of sitting at the end next to Alicia.
Mm.
The problem is Lex and Alicia are both, they're both going to be bitter jurors. I don't want to blindside either of them, but I think I lose sitting at the end next to either of them. So I have to blindside one of them.
Makes sense.
Because Jamie's the one I feel like I have the best shot to win against.
Yeah.
This was fun.
That's a good point. This was fun. We will be back later in the week for our Saturday episode. And then we will also have another rewatch next week for episode 4.
Yeah, and with that being said, everyone grab your torches and head back to camp.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.